Hi, I'm Tinny from Mini Bowl Design. Today I'm out trying out my new design. I haven't named it yet, so I can't call it anything. It's just a new design. I'm melting down some snow here, and in a few minutes I'm going to have some low-sodium ramen noodles. My new diet. While I'm waiting for this to melt the snow, I guess I'll talk a little bit about building stoves. It's a fun job, but it's wrought with a lot of problems. Like, well, first off, you can't fall in the trap of designing a stove that just you like, because I can build a stove that is exactly the way I want it. But then when I start putting it on the net, talking to different people and putting it out there, people have all kinds of different ideas. And well, for example, it might weigh 4 ounces, and that might be fine with me, but the gram weenies, they won't even buy it if it weighs 4 ounces. Or it might be really nice, but a little bit bulky, and a lot of people won't buy a bulky stove. Or there may be, you know, it doesn't have a simmer ability, or it's not hot enough, so you have to kind of morph this all in to a stove that basically everybody can live with. And you also have to make it unique enough so people are going to buy it just for the gizmo factor. So it's not as easy as it looks, and it can be really frustrating sometimes. Sometimes you run into a thing where you can build a really nice stove, but one of the features that you really need won't work into that design, so you have to start all over again. I probably throw away a fairly high percentage of really good designs just for that reason. Another part about designing stoves is you have to take into consideration what people are going to use it for. And then when they ask about the stove, you kind of have to steer them in that direction or suggest that that's what the stove's designed for. Like example, this one. If you're going to be out in this kind of an environment where your main source of water is snow, and you're going to have to melt it, and it's going to be cold, it's going to be windy, you've got to have a very efficient stove, because if you're trying to melt snow and you don't have an efficient stove, you're going to use all your fuel up pretty fast. It's going to use a lot of fuel, so you kind of got to have a stove that really is frugal on fuel but puts out a lot of heat too. And for melting snow, you don't need an enormous amount of heat at once. You need a nice, slow, medium heat. So you kind of got to design the stove around that. This one is almost perfect for melting snow for one person. I wouldn't want to melt snow to, you know, like water sled dogs with it or anything. But for one person cooking their own meals and melting snow to drink, it's about right. So that's something to take into consideration when you purchase any stove from me, is you try to get the stove for what you're doing, because you're not going to find any stove that works for everything. Well, maybe, but probably not. Now, one of the drawbacks to melting snow is it almost always has something in it for foreign matter. Twigs, pine needles, wolf whiz, something. So you kind of got to fish that out, or just resign to the fact that you're going to have a little more fiber in your diet than you normally would. And I think it's always a good idea to boil it too, because that'll sterilize it, and Lord knows what's walked over that piece. Yeah, these are starting to look pretty good now. Quite done yet, but they're getting there. Okay, these noodles have actually boiled over, and they've been boiling for a couple of minutes now. You can see them rolling pretty good. I'm going to blow out the stove and let them just set there for a couple more minutes before I consume them. Now, when you're boiling snow, it's probably a good idea to scoop out the squirrel droppings and then boil the water to kind of neutralize the wolf whiz, so that you've got a good clean product. And you don't want to poison yourself. Now, these noodles have been cooking for a while, and they're pretty good now. I've added the spice packet. I found that I add the spice packet after I've boiled them, and the flavor seems to be better than. I used to add the spice packet while they were boiling, and this seems to work better if you add it afterwards. Another thing I've learned is this spork is not the ideal tool for eating ramen noodles. I'm going to go back to chopsticks. Well, I'm not that good with chopsticks, but it's a lot more fun. Now these are the low sodium, low fat ones. And, well, I'm eating these because I'm on a low sodium diet, but to be perfectly honest, if I was going to go out hiking for the day, I'd take the originals because they're really not that good. If I had a package of these and I was on the trail and somebody asked me for food, which happens now and then, this is probably the ones I'd give them. Hey, you know, can't look a gift horse in the mouth. Well, you can, but you might bite you. Anyway, I'm Tinny from Mitty Bull Design. Get out and enjoy the wilderness. Get out and hike and get some exercise. Use your stove. Cook some meals out in the wilderness, especially in the snow. It's really a good experience. And have a great day. Bye-bye. I've read in the Orient if you don't slurp your noodles and then burp, or if you do slurp your noodles and burp, it's supposed to be a compliment to the chef. So, bon appetit!